Farm Bill took years to pass. How does it treat Wisconsin's dairy and cheese industries, ma'am?
I think that there's some really significant reforms that have been long overdue. And really it's about risk management. And in Wisconsin, where we have an abundance of small dairy farms, family farms, as well as larger enterprises, and certainly, an enormous dairy and cheese processing sector of our agricultural economy, I think it takes a balanced approach to helping these producers manage their risks. So that provision, that area of the Farm Bill, I think, is a real step forward for our state. It's going to take a little while to set up a new program. It is a new program in terms of the margin protection program. And in the meantime, we've been able to fight to extend the MILC, the milk program, as a safety net until the fall, when the new provisions, we hope, are up and ready to go.
Do you think the end of subsidies will end up costing taxpayers more eventually, Senator?
I don't. I mean, there was a careful analysis done in the overall spending in the Farm Bill, and it is a bill, a measure that's expected to save $23 billion over the lifetime of the bill.
What about R&D?
And that's a lot. That's a lot because of the discontinuation of some of the direct commodity subsidy payments, which is a fight that those of us who, I served in the House before the Senate, it's a fight we undertook many, many times unsuccessfully, and so it's a real, I think, a breakthrough to discard programs that have outlived their usefulness.
For a campus like Madison, so reliant on R&D, will the R&D budgets be increased under the Farm Bill, or cut, or stay the same?
And my visit today was to really highlight the research that's being done here. There's several different funding streams in the Farm Bill for research and development, and I think that there's a really healthy commitment, and in some programs some increases in our commitment to research and development. But to be able to talk with some of the young and more senior investigators here, doing basic research and doing applied research, and frankly working with the private sector to help boost their footprint in the economy, it's really impressive, and it really I think embraces the Wisconsin idea of getting what happens in the classroom and the laboratory right out to have value to all of our citizens.
Can I ask a couple other Washington issues?
Of course.
Thank you. That was an intriguing vote in the House for a clean debt bill.
Yes.
190 Democrats, I think 18 Republicans. What does that tell you about the state of House Republicans under Speaker Boehner's leadership, ma'am?
We've seen a couple of occasions where the Speaker has discarded what's been known as the Hastert rule, which is a rule that says a majority of the majority caucus has to agree on a measure before it can be brought to the floor and a vote taken on it. And I think that almost every time he's decided to discard the Hastert rule, it's been a win for the United States. It's been a win for our country. It's been on occasions where a more extreme group of House Republicans have demanded something that isn't good for the country. So I hope he does this more often. But we should never be playing politics with the full faith and credit of the United States.
The other question is the New York Times story that says Democrats in Congress like yourself are now in a fix-it mode with the Affordable Care Act. Is that an accurate summary, ma'am?
I can only speak for myself as somebody who's defended my yes vote on the Affordable Care Act that I cast when I was a House member, and have worked very hard, first of all, to see provisions that were implemented earlier done well. I was in part responsible for the provision that allows young people to stay on their parents' health insurance until they're 26 years old. There's 3 million young people in America who have coverage because of that. Watching the famed donut hole, the expense that seniors have for their prescription drugs, shrink and shrink and shrink, and just the incredible news that now people who have had a pre-existing health condition can now sometimes secure insurance for the very first time, or affordable insurance for the first time. So I've always defended those, and where things haven't been smooth, like the rollout of the Affordable Care Act marketplace and the problems that were experienced with the healthcare.gov, to say this is not acceptable and we need to do a full court press to fix those problems, address them, and move forward. But I think that there's unfortunately too many people who want this to fail, but we've got to understand now that the total impact between Medicaid expansion in some states and enrollment in the marketplace is about 10 million Americans, not to mention some of the other benefits I was talking about in terms of young people being on their parents' insurance and other people saving significant expenses in Medicare.
You're disappointed that the president has to continue to issue exemptions in the provisions from what you voted for?
I think that it is frustrating, although I understand the predicament when you have a House of Representatives that's voted now 47 times to repeal the entire measure or defund it. If you can't get the Congress to cooperate with minor adjustments, tweaks, fixes where there are problems, you have to do something. And so I don't envy the hand that the president has been dealt on this. I hope that soon we get to the point where people on both sides of the aisle say, this is the program that's here to stay, and let's work together across the party aisle to make it work as best as we can for all of our citizens.
If there's one fix that should be made, which one should it be?
Oh, I think there's multiple issues that need to be addressed. Some of them are minor, some of them are larger issues, and some of them are just understanding that things took more time than anticipated. So a lot of what you're seeing aren't permanent waivers of provisions, but extensions, because the data that needed to be gathered wasn't available at the time it was meant to go online. So you see this, for example, delay for employers that employ between 50 and 99 employees. It was just clear that more time was needed.
November elections, you think there'll be a referendum on the Affordable Care Act?
I don't. I certainly think that will be a lively issue and part of the debate. But I think we also reflect over a year and some months where the government was shut down due to the actions, again, of a more extreme group, mostly of House Republicans, that a lot of things were brought to the brink over politics rather than actions taken on behalf of the well-being of the citizens of this country. And I think that will be a lot of what's at play. You also see a lot of, and I don't want to get into too much political speculation because that's not my specialty, but you read a lot about the fractures within the Republican Party that I think have come to the fore in some of the primaries that you're seeing that will play out before the November elections.
And then follow-up question on the Farm Bill, circle back to that. Biggest way that it hurt Wisconsin, was that the cut in SNAP benefits?
Well, that was certainly my most significant objection, and the particular policy change that was made that resulted in that cut does impact Wisconsin. The way we had in the state been making people eligible related also to whether you were eligible for the LIHEAP program, the Low Income Heating Assistance, Energy Assistance Program. And it was clear that some people had been made eligible for enhanced SNAP benefits who actually didn't end up paying any home energy bills. They paid rent and their landlord paid it. And if you don't have an energy bill, you're technically ineligible. And that was the policy change that was made that ended up resulting in this. It will impact some Wisconsin families who got enhanced benefits. That said, everybody who is eligible in the state will continue to get their benefits according to their income eligibility for the benefits. And when I looked at the House-passed version of the Farm Bill and their absolute gutting of the food stamp program, the $40 billion that they proposed to cut, I mean, that was just unconscionable to me, untenable. I could never have supported that, and I'm glad we were able to fend that off.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Are there any other things, as far as Wisconsin farms, what should they be looking out for in terms of making adjustments or changing the way they farm because of the 2014 Farm Act?
Boy, I think that in large measure, what this is trying to do, and what we expect it will be successful in doing, is helping folks manage their risks more effectively. I mean, agriculture, farming is an incredibly risky endeavor. Whether we talk about weather, you don't control the conditions, and we've certainly been experiencing some extreme weather conditions in our state. You don't control the price of your seed. If you're planting, you don't control the price of your feed oftentimes, and oftentimes you don't have any real control over the price that you're getting at the end of the season or year-round when you're in the dairy industry. And so they're managing and juggling a lot of different risks. And the tools, the new programs that help farmers manage their risks, I think are going to be good news for the state of Wisconsin.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.